welcome to the AIPMM webinar series. This is Cindy Faye Solomon, delighted to be your moderator today with the AIPMM, the Association of International Product Marketing and Management, which was founded in 1998 and is the only worldwide certifying body of professional product managers, product marketing managers, brand managers, and certified innovation leaders, as well as agile product managers. I'm Cindy Faye Solomon. I am the host of the Global Product Management Talk. Delighted to moderate today with Hector de Castillo, who is, if you're following on Twitter, follow at AIPMM. The standard hashtag for product management events is #PRODMGMT. Today, you can use the hashtags AIPMM or #ProdBoc, which is for the product management body of knowledge. And if you participate, please use the questions box, and the participants will be entered into a raffle at the end to win a hard copy of the Guide to the Product Management and Marketing Body of Knowledge that we call the ProdBoc. It is 360 pages. It is the textbook of a culmination of 60 contributors' expertise on product management, product marketing, and everything involved best practices. Very valuable. You should own it. So make sure you participate with questions, which will be answered during the Q&A following Hector's presentation. So I'm Cindy Faye Solomon. You can follow me on Twitter at Cindy F. Solomon. And tune in on Wednesdays for the Global Product Management Talk. And today's speaker is Hector de Castillo. We both hold the CPM/CPMM, which is the Certified Product Manager and Certified Product Marketing Manager credentials. And Hector is also a product innovation consultant, a trainer, and an expert in product management principles. Hector, take it away.
Well, thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much, and welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's discussion. And today we're going to be talking specifically about a topic that I've been wondering quite a bit about, and that is, what makes a product team manager better than others? And this question is what really started this entire conversation. And so the goal of today's discussion will be to provide you 9 insights to help you become an exceptional product manager, product marketing manager, or brand manager. So first off, many of you answered the question that was part of the process for registering for this particular session. And we were asking, what do you want to get out of this webcast? And we got a lot of different diverse answers, but we took some of the top 3, the ones that had common resonance with the majority of you who responded to this. And there were some things that we typically do in our webcast. And these are the top 3 ones that came out. Best practices to become more productive, learn how to be an effective product manager, learn tips and tools for success. And I want to say that while we have an entire webinar series that focuses on these first 3, today's discussion is going to be focusing more on you, your career, and how to plan and grow your career, and give you some advice on how you can become an exceptional product team manager. So here's a question that I started with when I first started talking to different members within AIPMM, and people that I have grown to know professionally as well as personally, product managers, product marketing managers, and brand managers that are working in different companies, different industries, and started asking this question, why are some product team managers better than others at creating insanely great products that customers love? And while I found that there's an enormous difference in the role of product management or brand management or product marketing, regardless of what the product is in the industry, there are some practices that cross over, and we're going to talk about some of these things that are common to everyone. And here's what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be talking about some common challenges that should be pretty common regardless of what product or what industry or what company you're working with, because we've found that these challenges are common to several product managers, brand managers, and product marketing managers. So we're going to talk about top 3 common challenges. And we're going to talk about specifically 9 things to help you accelerate your career. And we're going to wrap up with key takeaways. And then, of course, we'll do a Q&A at the end of the session that Cindy will be moderating. And before we get into the discussion, I also want to point out that we are going to give and send everyone a link to this presentation. So no need to take any of the links that we'll be providing. You will get a copy, and everything that is hyperlinked you will have access to from the presentation that we will send you via email. So first off, the term, what is a product team manager? And this term is what I came up with summarizing 3 different roles that exist within different organizations, and that often even each specific role may have different titles as you go from one company to another as the industry varies. But in essence, product management, product marketing, and brand management are all functions that I consider are pretty common, because it's all about the management and the planning as well as the improvement of products, and that often, especially in the consumer world, products are brands, brands are products, and a brand manager is pretty much equivalent role as a product manager when they're managing consumer products. And before I proceed any further, I do want to do our first poll, and so Cindy will take that away.
Okay. And the poll is launched. Which one best describes you? And the voting has started. The choices are:
Great.
I'm a product team manager for less than 3 years. I'm a product team manager for 3 to 6. I'm a product team manager for 7 years, which is, I'm managing a team of product team managers getting no votes at all. And I'm looking to get into product team management. Currently winning is slot number 1, and the votes continue to come in. Still no votes for managing a team of product team managers, which would be, I guess, at the VP level, perhaps.
Yes, that's really meant for if you're a director of product management or a VP of product management, or are in some senior role where you are managing a team of product managers or brand managers or marketing managers. It's that's the one for that 4th option.
Okay, and actually we did get a vote for that. Okay, so any more votes? They seem to have stopped. I'm going to close the poll. And I will share the results, which are: for product team manager less than 3 years, 38%, which was the highest. The next one was, I'm looking to get into a product team management position. That was 24%. Next was, I'm a product team manager for 7 years or more, 21%. I'm a product team manager for 3 to 6 years, 14%. And I'm managing a team of product team managers, 3%.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Cindy. And this is very interesting. This particular discussion will be for any of you who are either entry-level product managers or are looking to get into a product team management position, as well as for those of you who are trying to grow your career, remaining in either product management or product marketing or brand management, and now you're looking to move up the ladder, either within your company or grow your career to the next level. So this gives me a great sense as to the type of audience that I'm talking to today. And some of the common challenges that I spoke about that we based on our discussions with many of our members and also some surveys that are available that are out there that have actually assessed product managers and marketing managers and brand managers across industries, across companies, here's some common challenges that everyone is facing. And that is, in most cases, few people within your company understand your role. And therefore, this causes a lot of confusion about what are the things that you should be involved and when do you need to be involved in specific discussions when it comes to products that you're responsible for. And often, depending on the company and its culture, it may be a barrier or obstacles that prevent you from being effective in your role as a product team manager. The second challenge is we find that most product team managers are too tactical, not strategic. And what I mean by that is that often, because you are interfacing and collaborating and leading multiple cross-functional teams, those teams that are all about supporting the products for which you're responsible for are drawing you into too much tactical work. And often you have to work long hours, often extended schedules, if you want to focus on the strategic part. And often, as you're being given more responsibilities into leading more products and more product teams, it really prevents you from doing the key portion of your role, which is to be strategic, to figure out how to win market share in the marketplace for the products that you're responsible for. So this is another common challenge that we find goes across brand management as well as product marketing and product management. And the third challenge is that most product team managers are not as effective as they could be. And there's a combination of things that could lead to this. Part of it is that we often find that often companies don't understand the roles, and therefore they task their product team managers with not the right activities to perform. Often it's about missing processes that don't exist within the company, and no one really understands those processes are missing. And often it also could be about missing tools that you're not being given, and you end up either not being given the right information at the right time, or you're being prevented because of the flow of information is not optimal in the way that you are performing your role as a product team manager. And so we often find that these three different challenges result in inefficiency across not just for the product team managers, but often lack of coordination between cross-functional teams that are all supporting various products that you would own as a product team manager. So there's a lot of inefficiencies involved in this with these three common challenges at the company level. So now we're going to talk about 9 things that, even with these common challenges, we find that there are some individuals that have risen to the occasion and have actually come out on top. And it's not uncommon nowadays to see that many of the CEOs in companies, if you look at where they came from, they actually were former product managers. And some prominent examples of today is Yahoo's CEO, Marissa Mayer, who was formerly a product manager at Google, as well as former CEO of Microsoft, Steve Ballmer, was also a former product manager within Procter & Gamble. And even if you look at the track record of CEOs at Procter & Gamble, you would find that the last 7 CEOs within Procter & Gamble have all been in a product management role prior to becoming the CEO of Procter & Gamble. So Procter & Gamble, it's almost like it's one of the requirements to become a CEO is you would have to have been an exceptional product manager before you are considered for the role of CEO. So we're going to talk about 9 things that will basically look at what made these product team managers leaders and how they became exceptional at what they do and allow them to achieve a higher level in their careers. And before we go any further, I'd like to actually do poll number 2. So Cindy, please take it away.
Okay. So this poll is, I have written a career growth plan. No, I have never had one. Yes, but I've not updated it in the past 2 years. Or yes, I update it at least once a year. And the voting is happening.
So Cindy, here's a question for you. Do you, and I know you're running product startup and product management talk, do you have a written career growth plan?
So I have a roadmap for both the startup product.com movement and services and everything else that's happening there, as well as a roadmap for the global product management talk. And I do have a roadmap of for where I want to be and the accomplishments I want to have achieved by the end of the year. And so I do. Is it formally documented and do I share it with anyone? No. I talk about it. But yeah, it is very important and definitely critical to documenting it. And it's almost, I tell people it's almost like productizing yourself and managing your own career just as much as you manage your product is critical. So
yes, thank you for sharing. Actually, this is something that I wanted to at least. I've been talking to different people, and I find that there's a common denominator as to those who are successful and those who are not as successful. So, what is the result of the poll?
Okay, so voting is still happening. I'm going to close the polls, and there's still some votes coming in. Okay, I am closing the polls. And the results are that 55%, so more than half, say they have never had a written career growth plan. 24% say, yes, I've updated it at least once a year. And 21% say, yes, but I've not updated it in the last 2 years.
Great. So the majority are in the where you've had one, but you haven't updated it lately, or you've never had one. Is that correct?
The majority, more than half, is no, I've never had one. And then it's almost a quarter, yes, I have one updated a year, and less than a quarter, yes, but I haven't updated it.
Great. So here's number one. In order to be exceptional at what you want to do, especially as a product team manager, you've got to set SMART career objectives. What I mean by SMART is they have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be actionable, they have to be realistic, and they also have to be time-based. So if you're having difficulty in trying to visualize exactly what that looks like, it is because if you only keep it in your mind, you're going to forget it. You really have to write it down. And I always encourage people, especially because as I talk to others who are more successful than others, I usually will find out that the common denominator is that those that are more successful than others, it's not because they have much better skills or abilities. It's because they actually have a plan as to how they plan on getting from point A in their careers to point B. So in essence, if this sounds familiar to you, a career growth plan is your own professional roadmap. Where are you at today in your career, and what does that mean as far as education, as far as training, as far as other things that you've learned on the job? And how can you demonstrate that expertise that you have acquired over the years to anyone who may be looking for a qualified person that is a great fit for that organization? So it goes beyond a resume. A career plan is much more than that. And we actually have a template that you can download. It's a Word document that has a guide as to how you can start filling your own plan. And it requires a lot of insight and introspective to do a self-assessment as to where you are today, what are the years of experience, and what are the tangible things that you can demonstrate to anyone, either within your company or elsewhere, as to what is your expertise. And that you can then use this information to then write it down in all the marketing collateral that you produce when you are looking for your next opportunity. So it starts with a self-assessment as to where you are today, and based on the opportunities and threats in the marketplace, where do you want to go, and what do you need to grow as a professional to get there? Don't expect always your company to be able to execute on that, because nowadays you've got to take ownership of your own career. And doing this, putting this in writing, is what makes the most sense. Number two, understand marketing customers. The one thing that you can do that crosses over from one product to another is to really understand how to analyze entire industries and then look at the business ecosystem and understand the market conditions and factors that create opportunities or threats to whatever product you're responsible for, and also understand the specific customer segments that you're targeting and who is the right customer and who is not your customer. And don't expect your product team to know, because they won't know. This is where you're looking for your leadership to understand. And typically what I see when I really look at exceptional product team managers, they work hard at understanding market trends and customer needs better than their direct competitors. And that they expect these things to always be changing, never static, and that it takes work to really look at how things change over time once you understand the forces that impact market trends and customer needs. And that it goes beyond not only understanding your competitors, but the entire landscape, possible new entrants, sources for substitute products, whether or not your customers have any leverage when they're buying from you, or whether or not your suppliers have any leverage when you need to buy from them in order to get your product out the door. And that often when you're guiding product teams, your role should be one more strategic, is to really try to understand and identify the right problem to solve first. That not just because you can build more into your product doesn't mean that you should. You've got to work hard at understanding whether you're looking at a way to solve the right problem, and that often you want to find a problem that is a market problem and not just a problem that is for one customer, because the best you can do is put together a solution that is for one or maybe a handful of customers, not enough to get to profitability. And so often it takes work to really identify what is the right market problem to solve and for whom. Number three, as a product team manager, you've got to embrace process, because some of these common challenges that I spoke about earlier, it's really about creating the right work environment and ensuring that everyone that you deal with that touches the products that you're responsible for understand what is the game plan, and that everyone knows exactly who's on defense, who's on offense, and what is the strategy to win against a specific competitor, or how do you gain additional market share given a specific market condition. And process is what enables an entire organization to ensure that everyone that is supporting your product understands the game plan. and that often the process helps you align your product strategy with your business strategy, your marketing strategy, and that customers understand that your product has a specific value that no one else in the marketplace is delivering. And often what you find is that organizations who work hard at creating and adopting processes and improving them over time are the ones that over time become leaders in their market and their industries. And that often, because they are focusing on process, they're working on increasing the productivity of the entire product team or teams. They're able to execute much faster and reduce any kind of rework, and effectively they end up on the average being reducing their time to market compared to a competitor who has no process or very few processes in place. There's a lot of different literature out there, studies that have been performed on different companies, different industries, and regardless of size, you find clarity that over a period of time, the companies that work hard at implementing processes can outperform any others that don't have the processes. Number 4, engage your stakeholders. And what I mean by that is you've got to engage around you in 360 degrees. Go to your executives, your senior managers, engage them, understand what worries them and what are the things that they have in their mind, and look at how is it that what you're doing adds value or aligns to the business strategy that they want to execute. That you also engage marketing and sales and understand what is the marketing and sales funnel and what are the goals and the objectives for the year when it comes to your product. That you also work with others that are part of the product team, whether it's development or QA or your customer support team or anyone that is a customer-facing employee, and that they understand who are the right customers and who are not the right customers to ensure that they continue to engage the right customers and continue to grow. And so it's about promoting open communication and problem solving within the product teams that you deal with. It's also about eliminating any silos in companies that have silos, and that using your interpersonal skills, collaborative skills, your influential skills, over time, you're going to build strong relationships within your company and everybody that is part of that supports your product. And often it may include suppliers, it may include technology partners, it may also include other entities like distributors, distribution channels, to build the right business ecosystem that allows your business, your company, your product to grow in the marketplace. And that in essence, if you think that what you're doing over time is building stronger and stronger relationships, not just within your company, but also with other stakeholders outside of your company, it will strengthen your business ecosystem, it will strengthen your value chain, and ultimately you got to focus on cultivating communities. So communities that may be within your company, as well as with your suppliers, your partners, your distributors as well. Number 5, think differently. Product team managers that think differently understand that often what appears to be the status quo for the organization doesn't mean that that's the best way to move forward when market conditions change significantly. That often the kinds of ideas that would work are the ones that are challenging within the organization because of the fact that it requires a lot of work to evolve their current business model, the way that they're achieving revenue, and the kinds of products that they're selling today are not always the ones that are going to be the best moving forward. And thinking differently allows you to appreciate when you need to do something more than just build more product. And that often it really requires you to create alignment and then look at what is our business strategy and our current marketing strategy, and how does it fit with this particular product? And given current unmet market needs, how well are all three of these aligned with the needs that I'm finding out are out there today, or that would be there in a few years, and that we have no solution for those particular market needs. It's also about understanding that once you look at and analyze your value chain and your value creation process, as a product team manager, you want to be able to direct it, to conduct it, so to speak, not get involved in the tactical work, but really making sure that everyone involved, entire teams, are working on the right activities with the right level of resources, that they don't have any kind of barriers impeding them to perform according to the plan, and also that you're coordinating handoffs between different teams. These are all things that if you don't consider, often lack of communication or other things may impact your time to market and your ability to execute, even though you might have a great plan. And you also want to be able to use leading productivity tools, because many of these tasks that are more strategic in nature, there's a lot of tools available that have been time tested, and they have also been tested across industries, across products, and can be easily repurposed to help you figure out what is the best way to move forward for specific products within your portfolio. And before I go any further, I want to stop and ask Cindy to do the next poll, please.
Okay. So this poll is about if you've had formal product management, product marketing, or brand management training. And the votes are coming in.
And as we go through, there are several yes answers. We're looking specifically for you to identify if you have had formal training, whether you're applying it today often, or whether you're only applying some of it, not all, or whether you believe that you could be more productive because you're missing tools or other things that should be in place, but they're not within your company today. So take a look at the available options and let us know.
The votes are coming in.
That you've gotten the right training, and are you executing those activities that you learned in the training that you obtained if you have been formally trained?
So there is no advanced degree in product management, product marketing, or brand management specifically. There are courses and focuses at the university level, but no undergraduate or graduate degree. As I monitor the education space. This year was the first year that Harvard University actually gave a course in product management. Okay, the votes are still coming in. And I am going to close the poll. We're almost at 90% voted. And I am closing the poll. Okay, and here are the results. So, as suspected, 58% say no, I've never had any formal training. After that, 18% say yes, I'm applying some of it often. 15% say yes and I'm missing tools. It drops down to 6% who say yes and I'm applying it often. And only 3% say yes and I'm not applying it often. And I would suspect that those 3% are because perhaps they're not in product management roles. The only reason why they wouldn't be applying it.
Thank you very much, Cindy. And actually, there's several different reasons why even though you may have had formal training, depending on the information that you got, you may not have been given the information on how to implement that within a company that has missing processes in place. We often find that the struggle, even as we are providing training and certification to members of AIPMM, product team managers within different industries, different companies, the struggle often is, what do we do with this information, because we're not using it today and no one within the company is using it today. And usually that means that you have a combination of either missing processes that need to be created over time, as well as missing tools because no one is using these tools, no one knows how to use this, and therefore the function, even though you may have several resources that are in product team management, they're not as effective as they could be otherwise because of a combination of those. And often we also find that the companies that do take the time to implement the role correctly usually start with some number of resources, and over time, as the company grows, the number of resources also grows. And it's not just a handful of individuals that are in these positions. There's hundreds of product team managers within a company. The larger the company is, the more product team managers that are involved. One example is Apple. And Apple, from the very beginning, even as Steve Jobs was a CEO at the very beginning, at its inception, there was one individual that they had very early on, even as the company was still a startup, and that was Mike Markula. Those of you who are familiar with the Apple history, Mike Markula worked with both Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, and was the first product manager that Apple had. And the point of this was Apple about 40 years ago. Before they actually had a product in market, they had a product manager that helped both Steves realize their product, which was, the initial product was computers, the Mac. So point number 6, coach and mentor others. And what I mean by that is, you're trying to really grow within, and you want to stay within product management, or you want to stay as a product team manager and lead other managers, you really want to get into the situation where you can also become good, not just become good at what you're at as an individual, as a product team manager, but also learn to coach and mentor others. Because those are the people that over time will see and recognize and support you to take leadership positions over time. So as you coach and mentor others, this will help others, but it also will help you gain credibility and gain reputation in order for you to obtain a promotion within your own company. And coaching and mentoring others means that you have to not only be good at what you do over time, but now you're also sharing your knowledge with others within your company to ensure that everybody, that as you grow, everybody grows. And that formula is what you follow to continue to grow professionally within your company. And there's plenty of opportunities that you can, if you consider what are the things that you can do within your company to share your knowledge. One of the things that we typically will recommend for most companies is to allow product managers that, even though they may be working with different products, that they should be sharing knowledge and expertise with everyone who's in the same function. because people can learn from each other over time. Number 7, encourage teamwork. And teamwork means that you have to foster collaboration and have clarity as to who's leading the team and who is part of the team, and that you also take a role in drafting who gets involved from the very beginning. Identifying the key resources that exist, people with the right expertise, and even when you're missing expertise, how can you make that up, either by outsourcing or by growing current people to adopt new technologies or new methodologies that need to be implemented to execute on a new idea. And that often it's about fostering a relaxed and fun and open environment, that a team environment and one that values teamwork helps maintain everyone engaged. And as for those of you who have been in product management for more than a few years, you should understand that when you have an engaged product team, it's much easier to work with engaged product team members as opposed to the opposite. When people don't really care and they're disengaged, they really don't care about the product, nor about the company or the work they're doing. Number 8, fail forward. Expect failure to occur, especially because most of you today are probably learning on the job. Cindy mentioned that really there is no formal type of education you can get. Just now, we're starting to see the rise of product management and product marketing and brand management as a role, as its own role, its own profession. So expect a lot of failure, and often you need to figure out how do you, at a personal level, capture the assumptions that everyone is making, testing those assumptions, learn from mistakes, and then pivot when needed. And that you have to do this at a personal level, as well as you have to coach and mentor your team to do the same when they're working on a specific product. And you should be encouraging your entire team to fail fast and fail quickly and fail often, and even before you proceed to build, because iteration is what it really will take to bring clarity to what is the right problem to solve and what is the best possible solution, and how can you implement something that is clearly differentiated against any other competitor, and even figure out how do you create sustainable multiple revenue streams off of that investment of whatever idea you want to build into a great business. Number 9, always be learning. Product management is one of those roles where you are not only relying on hard skills and domain expertise where you go in deeper. Is not just one, it may be 2 or 3 or more. Often you find that exceptional product team leaders are the ones that work hard at continuing to grow, and that their curiosity of asking questions and trying to understand how things work drives them to expand their skills over time through formal and informal education paths, and look at what are the ways that they can continue to grow and acquire new skills, because those are the skills that are going to be needed for the future, maybe not today, but for the future, and that it takes work to continue to expand your skills. And this includes not just hard skills, but also the soft skills, leadership skills, your influential skills, and your collaborative skills. And if you have to really look at which are your most marketable skills as a product team manager, it's the soft skills first, followed by a few other domain expertise that is more hard skills that, depending on your industry, depending on your product, you will continue to build. But the marketable skills are the soft skills that you need to work on developing over time. And that you can develop both hard and soft skills, but you need to ensure that you are planning your own professional and personal growth to grow both hard and soft skills. And finally, once you gain the education, ensure that at least you can have some sort of way to get a third party to validate your expertise. This is the reason why AIPMM started back in '98, is because they recognized the need for product management and brand management and product marketing to become viable professions. And their path today, they've been around the longest, and they have today certified more product team managers than anyone else out there. And they were the first to do this, and now as we're seeing the rise of product management, a lot more people are looking to get certified to demonstrate and have a tangible proof that they indeed have the right skills to become exceptional product team managers. And before we go any further, I want to actually do the last poll, and so Cindy, please take it away.
Okay. So this poll is, I'm interested in finding a coach or mentor who can help me grow my career. Yes. Tell me how to find one. Maybe. Send me some more information. Or no, not at this time. So, and the votes are coming in. And it's a very difficult thing to find a coach or mentor at any level, especially in product management. The votes are coming. Very interesting split. Okay. They're still coming in. I'm going to close the polls. If you haven't voted yet, please vote. And I am closing the polls. Okay.
Great.
So.
Great. Thank you very much, Cindy. And one of the things that I wanted to do is I want to wrap up. We actually are going to have something that I'm going to offer to everyone who has attended this particular session to thank everyone. And I want to first wrap up, and then we can get into those discussions. So number one, we talked about 9 different things that would help you become an exceptional product team manager. Number one, set SMART career objectives. Number 2, understand market and customers, and do this better, understanding market and customers better than your direct competitors today. Figure out a way to know how to test the concept, test what you're doing, fail forward, engage stakeholders, think differently, coach and mentor others, and look for opportunities to coach and mentor others, encourage teamwork within your workplace, especially when you're leading product teams, fail forward, and finally, always be learning. Be focused on continuing to expand your skills, because there are always new things you can learn, and your curiosity and the way to build more expertise really takes a plan on your part to continue to grow. So with that, we come to the conclusion. I do want to finish up as we start. If you're interested in becoming certified, here are some upcoming courses that are coming up in the next couple of months that I am personally teaching in Seattle as well as in the DC metro areas. So if you're interested in learning more, you can follow the links here. We mentioned before, we're going to provide you a copy of this so you can actually go look for information, or go to that Transform Your Career site to learn more about this particular courses, and feel free to reach out to me if you need more information. I'm actually going to be starting to offer coaching and mentoring for product managers who are looking to grow their careers and accelerate their careers. And I'm offering a free initial coaching session. And if you can provide me your name, your company, your email address, and your phone number, you can follow this link, submit your information, and I will then commit to setting up an appointment with you to begin at least provide you some guidance and advice as to where you are today and what are the things that you can do given what you want to achieve. So in essence, the start will be for you to provide me your information and I can guide you. And even if it's not me providing coaching, I can at least provide you some guidance and some of the advice of lessons that I learned as I went through in being a product manager, a product marketing manager within various companies. We are at Q&A. So I want to thank everyone for your attention, and now it's your time to submit your questions.
Great. So there are questions that have come in. Regarding the coaching that you're offering, does that include interviewing help, Hector?
So the coaching is basically going to be based on your own personal needs. So if you're currently in transition, let's say you're currently either looking to get a promotion or shift into a product team management position for the first time, if you're going through that process, I can help you, and I can help you prepare for the interview as well as whatever other things that you need to do to actually find a suitable position.
Great. So let's see. There was a question about books, and definitely the ProdBook, the Product Management Body of Knowledge, the guide to it. That will be a lucky person will win. That is definitely the go-to book for additional reading about product management. And if you're looking for more information about product management training, go to the AIPMM site and look under certification. And it goes into detail about all of the different certifications available and what the training is involved.
And there's also a link at the end of this presentation that will provide you a hyperlink to that web page that has information about the AIPMM certifications.
Right. Let's see. How important is it to engage stakeholders, and is it just within the product management and marketing department? I can answer that, but go ahead, Hector.
Sure. So when you're talking about engaging stakeholders, it's not just your product team, it's pretty much everyone around you. I mentioned earlier, the principle is you want to go 360 degrees around you. You want to go up to your executives, your senior managers, but you also want to go to your peers, and you also want to go to everyone else that is involved in touching or supporting the products for which you're responsible for. And often what you find is that stakeholders are internal to any organization, but often as a product manager or as a product team manager, you're often dealing with also stakeholders that are outside your company, your suppliers, your partners, and even your distribution channels. And often there are other stakeholders like business analysts and experts, people who are tracking your industry and your market, and you want to convince them that you're the best product in the market and that they should convince everyone else that they should buy your product and not your competitors. So engaging of stakeholders is not just internal to the company, it's also outside the company. Often, as a product team manager, you need to be doing both engaging internal stakeholders as well as external stakeholders. Cindy, I don't know if you want to expand on that.
No, that's great. That was a great response. There's a lot of other questions. So I want to get into what is your suggestion to become more strategic versus tactical? And Hector, this is something we see, specifically within software. This person comes from a very tactical role and has moved into a product role, and it's a first time they've experienced a challenge with this. So I was referencing in software, people would be product owners, which they're just involved with the product build. They're not managing strategically. So do you have suggestions for how to move from tactical into more strategic?
Yes. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you raise awareness within senior managers and executives that the role of product management and product marketing and brand management, those roles are strategic, which means 80% of the things that you're doing, your key activities, should be strategic rather than tactical. As a product owner, if you look at, by definition of those, the difference between a product manager and a product owner, they're two different things, right? Because a product owner is the other way around, 80% tactical, working on a single sprint or iteration, never enough for that release to be the one that goes to market. So the function of a product owner and a product manager should be clearly differentiated within a company. And we're finding that most companies that don't know any better try to task their product managers to also be product owners, and therefore the product manager becomes more tactical rather than strategic. So my advice would be to begin those conversations with executives and senior managers, because they're the ones that would implement changes in responsibilities in the different roles, and that there should be clarity as to the difference between a product owner, a product manager, a product marketing manager, a brand manager, versus other management types, such as project management or program management.
And here I would
often
I just want to underline, I'm watching the time, that definitely getting a certification, getting a foundation and understanding the full perspective and the value of product management to the organization will definitely contribute to not only your leadership, but the success of strategic product management within the organization, because then you have the languaging and the background to explain it, as well as the validation of, this is a function, a profession, and key to the success of the product.
That is correct.
So there's some questions. I want to know where to place the CPM certification in the career path. This person is at the entry level and wants to know if it makes sense to have a certification early or learn a while in the role and then test the learnings with the certifications. Great question. Great question.
And what I encourage everyone is, if you build the expertise and you learn, you can actually through formal training, you can actually prepare for certification. And it doesn't really matter whether you are, 2 years into product management or longer. I would encourage you that if you are looking for a tangible proof that you have gained expertise of what is product management or what is product marketing or what is brand management, seek certification as early as possible and ensure that as you prepare, you're not only learning on the job, but also are looking and seeking formal training and implementing with other things to help you become a much better professional.
Excellent. Okay. Hey, we're on the hour, so I want to say that the additional questions that came in, Hector, you can answer these offline. So there's some great questions. I think we covered the most, but I want to get to the drawing.
Yes, and I would encourage everyone, and I want to thank everyone for your attention, and encourage you to contact me directly. Here's my contact information. And Cindy, thank you very much for hosting and moderating this particular event, and thanks everyone for attending.
And so, the drawing. Okay. And the winner is Karen Weir. Congratulations, Karen Weir. She has won the product body, the ProdBoc, the Guide to the Product Management Body of Learning. Okay. And thank you for joining us today. Next week on the AI PMM webinar series, Improve Product Design Through Gamification with Jose Briones. That will be excellent. He's an expert in innovation And following that will be how software analytics can improve your products. I believe Hector will be moderating both of those. Go to the AIPMM.com under webinar series, and that's not only where you can see the upcoming webinars, but you can see archives of past webinars as well as slides from those webinars. Also, AIPMM has a presence on SlideShare where you can get the slides. And weekly, join me on the Global Product Management Talk. Coming up next week, we're talking about a new book in innovation with Chad McAllister, the author, will be joining us again in the studio to talk about that. Also, if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, join me tonight for the pre-Product Camp Silicon Valley dinner in San Jose. And tomorrow is Product Camp Silicon Valley, the biggest product camp. I will be there giving a presentation, and as well as I'll be talking about the AIPMM certifications and the Startup Product Movement for Product Excellence. There are links here if you'd like to be a speaker on a future webinar, and also to find out more information about certification and follow up with Hector for coaching. Thank you so much, Hector, for a great webinar today.
Thank you.
This is very valuable, and expect to see follow-up after this event. And thank you, BZ Lewis. Have a great week.
Yeah.